Hey everybody, Tom Westerholm here, sports producer and Celtics writer at MassLive.com, and we are going to hand out some Boston Celtics offseason grades today. So the way we're going to do these grades is a C means you neither hurt nor helped your team necessarily with the signing. That means that anything that's just kind of a mess signing is a C, anything that's better is a C plus or above, anything that actually hurt your team is a C minus or below. So the Celtics started the offseason with the big free agent acquisition that everybody wants to talk about, and that is German big man Daniel Theis. He's an interesting prospect. He is a rugged player according to a lot of different scouting reports. A good defender, was actually Defensive Player of the Year in the Bundesliga, the German league that he was playing in. And he actually shot 33% from three-point range. And he's Dennis Schroeder's best friend from the Atlanta Hawks. So hopefully he can kind of bridge that gap between Schroeder and Isaiah Thomas that's kind of been a rivalry over the years. With the number 3 pick in the 2017 NBA draft, the Celtics took Jayson Tatum out of Duke. Really versatile forward, awesome scorer, great footwork. We're going to give them a B, and again, this does not mean that he was not an A prospect. It's just that in terms of helping the Celtics, he's a B. He helps them a little bit. He's not going to be huge, but he could be a really helpful player off the bench in his rookie season. With the number 37 pick, the Celtics got Semi Ojeleye, a forward out of SMU. They signed him to a 4-year deal. We believe the first 2 years are fully guaranteed. Ojeleye is an interesting prospect, very versatile, good defender, and he gets an A minus. He's a great pickup for the Celtics where they got him, and somebody who Brad Stevens actually believes will be able to contribute next year given his defensive capabilities. I have no strong feelings about Jabari Bird or Kadeem Allen. In order to make the room to sign Gordon Hayward, the Celtics had to extend the qualifying offer to Kelly Olynyk and then withdraw it, meaning that he went into unrestricted free agency. Celtics no longer really had a chance to bring him in because of the money he was going to be earning. So that's just a move they had to do in order to get Hayward. It was a necessity. It probably hurt the team had they not gotten Hayward, but since they did, it did turn out to be the right move in that case. This signing was obviously not as big as picking up German big man Daniel Theis, but on July 4, the Celtics did acquire former Utah Jazz star Gordon Hayward in free agency to a 4-year max deal. This was the move that the Celtics had to make this summer if they wanted to improve their team. They need Hayward's versatility, they need his scoring ability, they need him off the dribble, out of the pick and roll, and on defense he's going to really help them. Just everything about Hayward's game is perfect for this team. He's perfect for the rebuild, and just kind of the way that he fits this team both in the present and in the future just makes him the ideal pickup for the Celtics. To make room within their cap space to acquire Hayward, the Celtics had to trade one of Avery Bradley, Jay Crowder, and Marcus Smart. And to do that, they ended up trading Avery Bradley for Marcus Morris to the Detroit Pistons. We're going to evaluate this one first out of context and then in context. Out of context, this was a bad deal for the Celtics. Morris is nowhere near the player Bradley is. Bradley was an awesome defender next to Isaiah Thomas, but also next to Marcus Smart, and just on any point guard, you could just throw him on that player and he would make it really difficult for them. In context, Marcus Smart makes a little bit more sense next to Isaiah Thomas. He's more versatile, he's bigger, and he just kind of helps the team defense a little bit more with Thomas in the game. And, of course, this trade made room for the signing of Gordon Hayward. So it was a move the Celtics had to do. In context, it was a good one. Out of context, it made very little sense, but that's a trade-off the Celtics will be happy to make. After signing Hayward, the Celtics didn't have much cap space left, but they did have their room exception, and they used all of it to sign Detroit Pistons center Aaron Baines. A big man, great rebounder, interior presence. He's going to be a really nice addition to a team that desperately needed defensive rebounds last season. Baines gets a B+ just for his fit and for the relatively fair price that the Celtics got him for, just at the room exception. We're clumping these guys together even though they were signed at different points during the summer, but the Celtics signed both of last year's draft and stash players Ante Zizic and Guerschon Yabusele to deals. Both guys will be guaranteed because both were first-round picks. Yabusele is a power forward with great footwork, potential rebounder, and a really interesting player, especially on the offensive end. Ante Zizic is a big man, another good rebounder, and a potential presence in the lane, although not necessarily a rim protector. But both players should help the Celtics, especially on the boards and especially with their lack of size inside. After Summer League, the Celtics also signed Abdel Nader, who was a pick last year in the second round. They stashed him in the D-League with the main red clause. A lot of fans weren't happy with the signing because they thought it meant that the Celtics wouldn't be able to offer 4 years to Semi Ojeleye. We'll see how that actually pans out. The Celtics let Demetrius Jackson go to make room for him, but Nader will be another wing on the team, assuming he makes it onto the 15-man roster, which currently is set at 16. The Celtics' final signing of the offseason was Shane Larkin, who was playing overseas last year. He already has had an NBA career. He's undersized point guard. He'll be a backup, especially after they waived Demetrius Jackson, so he gives a little more depth on the bench, assuming that he makes the 16-man roster. He was the 16th player that the Celtics currently have guaranteed money tied up in. And our final special bonus offseason signing was Paul Pierce. A double plus for this one. Celtics brought Pierce back, got him to sign a one-day contract so he could retire as a Celtic, as it should be, as it always should have been.